For this lesson, we'll be discussing subject pronouns. Subject pronouns take the place of nouns when they are used as the subject of a verb. For example, the subject pronoun for John would be he. For John and Jane, it would be they. For my friends and I, it would be we. And for the book or the books, it would be either it or they. A good understanding of English subject pronouns is essential for understanding them in Spanish. For that reason, we'll briefly cover the English subject pronouns before moving on to the Spanish ones. It's also important that you understand the breakdown of this chart. This chart will be used extensively once you begin to conjugate verbs. Conjugations will be referred to as the first person singular conjugation, the third person plural conjugation, etc., etc. In English, the first person singular subject pronoun is I. I is used when the speaker is performing the action of the verb. The second person singular subject pronoun is the singular you. The singular you is used when the person that the speaker is speaking to is performing the action of the verb. The third person singular subject pronouns are he, she, and it. He, she, or it is used when a third party is performing the action of the verb. The first person plural subject pronoun is we. We is used when the speaker and at least one other party are performing the action of the verb. The second person plural subject pronoun is the plural you. The plural you is used when the person that the speaker is speaking to and at least one other party are performing the action of the verb. The third person plural subject pronoun is they. They is used when more than one third party are performing the action of the verb. Now for the Spanish subject pronouns. In Spanish, the first person singular subject pronoun is yo. The second person singular subject pronoun is tú. Notice the accent mark over the you. That accent mark is very important and the meaning of the word would change without it. The third person singular subject pronouns are él and ella. Here, él means he and ella means she. Again, notice the accent mark over the E in él. There is no subject pronoun for it. That's because in Spanish, if the subject of the sentence is understood based on the context of the conversation, the subject or subject pronoun can be omitted. That's very different from what an English speaker is accustomed to. In English, we always include a subject or subject pronoun. The first person plural subject pronouns are nosotros and nosotras. Both mean we, but there are conditions related to the gender of the parties that dictate which is used. Up to this point, the only subject pronouns that were gender specific were él and ella. With nearly all plural subject pronouns in Spanish, gender will be an issue. But now, because there is the possibility of mixed gender groups, the rules for determining which to use are slightly more complicated. The masculine nosotros is used when all parties of the group are male, or if at least one party of the group is male, even if the majority of the group is female. The feminine nosotras is only used when all parties of the group are female. The gender of the speaker is irrelevant. If the speaker is female and at least one party of the group is male, the masculine nosotros is still used. The second person plural subject pronouns are vosotros and vosotras. Both mean the plural you and follow similar gender rules as those that apply to nosotros and nosotras. The masculine vosotros is used when all parties of the group are male or if at least one party is male. The feminine vosotras is only used when all parties of the group are female. The third-person plural subject pronouns are ellos and ellas. Both mean they and follow the same gender rules that have already been explained. The masculine ellos is used when all parties of the group are male or if at least one party is male. The feminine ellas is only used when all parties of the group are female. There is another pair of third-person subject pronouns, one singular and one plural, which will seem out of place to an English speaker. They are usted and ustedes. Usted means the singular you, and ustedes means the plural you. With usted and ustedes, gender is irrelevant. As I said, they are both third-person subject pronouns. They are both included on the chart with the other third-person subject pronouns, and their verbs conjugate in the third person. Despite the fact that tú and usted mean the singular you, and vosotros and ustedes mean the plural you, they are not used interchangeably. Tú and vosotros are used in a familiar sense, or in an informal situation. For example, with a friend or a family member. Usted and ustedes are used in an unfamiliar sense, or in a formal situation. For example, with an employer, with a person that you don't know, or with any person that you would refer to as sir or ma'am. Finally, since ustedes and vosotros both mean the plural you, in the vast majority of Spanish-speaking countries, ustedes is substituted for vosotros, regardless of whom you're speaking to or the situation. This may seem insignificant, but will prove to be a blessing once you begin to conjugate verbs. 要爱情，爱情。